concerns about whether you are an undocumented immigrant or someone without papers, or perhaps you don't speak English well and you don't really know how to complete the form or find resources. Are these all concerns that people might have in preventing them from completing the form?
Absolutely. I believe that one issue for many people is that they don't know about the census, they don't know about the benefits, and they don't know about the importance. And the other piece of that is that they are fearful that somehow their responses would be used against them, whether it's in an immigration context, perhaps a housing context, or some other issues that dissuades them from actually participating.
Are the forms and the information that's collected on the forms kept confidential?
Absolutely. It is by law, in fact, by some of the strictest privacy and confidentiality laws on the books, held confidential for the entirety of the person who's working on the data, who has access to the data. They're sworn for life to keep that information protected and confidential, and if they try to breach that, they would be subjected to severe penalties. These penalties include being imprisoned for up to 5 years, being fined up to $250,000, or a combination of both.
So it sounds then that there shouldn't be a concern about having your information shared with other government agencies. So if I'm an undocumented immigrant without papers, I should complete the census form and not be concerned that any of my information will be shared with, say, the Immigration Service.
Absolutely. All responses are kept confidential. None of them are shared with any other governmental agency, whether it's Department of Homeland Security, whether it's the IRS, or any law enforcement officials at the local, state, federal levels.
Great. And what about college students? We mentioned college students as well as a population that might get missed once in a while. How should college students be completing this form?
College students that go to school away from home and therefore do no longer live at home during the year should fill out their forms where they are attending college. And their parents should not include them on their census forms for their household because they no longer actually live there for most of the year.
Now, Mo, another reason that we mentioned that some immigrants and people of color might be reluctant to complete the census form is because they might not speak English well, for example, and they might not be able to complete the form. Tell us a little bit about the resources that are provided that might help people who need a little bit of assistance speaking English or writing English.
That's a great question. There are resources that are provided by the Census Bureau and also resources by community organizations. So I'll start with the Census Bureau. The form is actually available in 6 languages: English, Spanish, Chinese, Korean, Russian, and Vietnamese. If you need a form in any of those languages outside of English, you can request it via a toll-free number that will be made available closer to the census. Another thing that people can do if they need help in filling out their form is accessing a language assistance guide. What a language assistance guide is essentially a form with the question and the response choices translated, so you can use them side by side with your form to see how you should answer the question. And it is available in 59 languages, including many South Asian languages, including Gujarati, Hindi, Tamil, Urdu, and many more. And you can get these language assistance guides by going to 2010.census.gov and find the Partners tab along the top and then go to In-Language Materials along the left side.
Great. You mentioned a little bit about some of the materials that community-based organizations are also providing to help people complete the census. I know both of you are at community organizations, so Mo, tell us a little bit about some of those resources.
Great. So at SAALT, South Asian Americans Leading Together, we have a fact sheet that has been translated into 9 languages, 9 South Asian languages, that essentially goes through questions about the census as well as particularly how to fill out the race question, which we went over during the segment as well. And this fact sheet has been translated into Bangla, Gujarati, Hindi, Nepali, Urdu, Tamil, and Punjabi. So you can find this fact sheet as well as other resources at www.salt.org, and we have a Census 2010 page, and there's a lot of resources on there. And another great place to go to, just to go back to some of the census resources, is 2010.census.gov. It's kind of the hub where everything resides.
Great. And Terry, tell us a little bit more about your organization's outreach work on the census.
Great. The Asian American Justice Center has been partnering with other organizations, including SALT, through our Fill in Our Future campaign. And the website for that is www.fillinOurfuture.org. And it really serves kind of as a clearinghouse for a lot of the information that's been created out there, with the idea of really trying to have one place where people can get, whether it's the census documents, the fact sheet, the great fact sheet that SAALT created, other things that have been created across the country, trying to house all of that into one location. We also have video resources, PSAs. People will be able to download them. Some of them are in language. To be able to stream them through their own websites or at events.
Great. It sounds like there are so many resources available from not just the two organizations here, but probably many others around the country. And I think that the message that both of you are trying to send is that all of us need to participate in the census. It is an absolutely important civic duty. It's important because this is one way that we can get information about our communities, not just where we reside and the types of households we live in, but also about how many South Asians live in this country. Where do we live? What do our households look like? In a way, it is about painting that portrait of America. And it's very important that our communities get counted and are not missed this year. So we encourage you to really look at some of the resources that are available. We also encourage you to take some of these resources into your own communities. So if you want to take fact sheets to your mosque or your gurdwara or temple, for example, if you want to have information about the census given out to perhaps you're a teacher at your school, please rely on these organizations because we can really help you get this information out about the importance of filling out what is the shortest and simplest form that has been made available to capture very important data about all of our communities across this country. So I want to thank both of you, Mo Khan from SAALT and Terry Au from the Asian American Justice Center for joining us. And we hope that all of you will get counted by April 1st, 2010, and tell your friends and your family members about the importance of completing this form. Thank you again for joining us here on Community Corner at Darshan TV. Join us next month when we discuss another topic of importance to the South Asian community.